to order. Everybody stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to do roll call. Paul Cassidy, absent excused. Tanya Hogan, here. Beverly Rose,
Here.
John DeBoyer,
here.
Mark Burchard,
Here.
Roy Martin,
Here.
Sarah Clemens. Here.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint John DeBoyer to chair our meeting tonight.
Second. All in favor?
Aye. I'd like to make a motion for some agenda amendments. For 1G, I would like discussion only on the stage, and 1H, Legos Bar.
I'll second.
You said Liga's Bar, Bev?
Correct.
Okay, first item on the agenda is public comments. If there's any public comments. No public comments. We'll move on to bills payable.
I'll make a motion that we pay bills payable in the amount of $23,014.99.
Support. Okay, we've got motion and support. Any discussion? No discussion. Tanya, roll call, please.
Yep. John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
Sarah Clemens. Yes.
Motion carries. Next item up on the agenda is unfinished business, discussion of dredging response. I'm not sure.
Oh, we have the consent agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry. Consent agenda. You can still stay up here. We have the consent agenda. I'm sorry.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda containing the meeting minutes from the January 12th meeting, the board approved checks for that meeting, and the in-between meeting checks.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion on this? Roll call on that one too, please, Tanya.
Mark Burchard?
Yes.
Tanya Hogan? Yes. Beverly Rose?
Yes.
Roy Martin?
Yes.
Sarah Clemens? Yes. John DeBoyer?
Yes. Now we can move on to unfinished business. So this is discussion of dredging response. I'm not sure how we're handling this, but.
This was requested by the supervisor to put on,
Okay.
so I'm not really
Well, let
sure
me-
either.
If Mr. Hanna would like to address the board.
Yeah, let me
Go ahead.
explain. You know, the last meeting that I came to, there was a response from your building inspector posted that I was not aware of. And I came up here to respond, but I didn't know this had been prepared. I'm responding to that document.
Okay.
Does anybody need a copy of that document before I begin?
It's in the agenda packet.
Yeah, it's in our
Good.
pack. It is in our packet, yeah. So
Okay.
go ahead.
You know, I'd like to thank the Township Board for allowing me the time to present my questions and concerns regarding the dredging taking place at Cabana Blue Restaurant at the board meeting on 12/22/25. I apologize for not having a response to Mr. Burrell prepared at the board meeting on 1/12. I wasn't aware that a document had been prepared in advance because I haven't been through this process before. I had no idea. So my neighbor informed me during that meeting. I exited the room to try to read the document, but I could not. So, you know, I'm here today to respond to that letter. Paragraph 1, Eagle has issued a dredging permit for the south side. You know, I'm aware, my neighbors are aware of all the permits that are open. There was one permit that we were not aware of, which was a permit that was issued last year, which I was able to obtain a copy of prior to speaking to Mr. Burrell. Also in that paragraph, Mr. Burrell responds, there are wetlands involved within the property. The property owner is hoping Eagle and he can work out better defining those wetlands. And I'd just like to say the wetlands on the island are defined in the island's original plan. There's final definition being made for the end of the peninsula on the island. We're also aware that Eagle is watching the wetlands boundaries very closely, so there's no issue there. Where it is true on paragraph 2 in his response that Eagle does not regulate height, Mr. Burrow's response was, where it is true Eagle does not regulate height or grade of the upland. The owner, Joe, has stated that he is not raising the height of the property and will be consistent with the current height of the established parking lot. My response to that would be, I would assume that Mr. Burrow has access to the approved site plan, would have checked the grade on the plan. In my opinion, he's responding to the public. If he is responding to the public or the township board, his response should be based on a formal document, not the input of the island's owner, in my opinion. And I have a copy of the master plan. I believe that information's in it, but I'm not great at reading topography, so I can't tell you if it is or not. In paragraph 3, which is the reason I'm here today, I spoke with Mr. Hanna on 12/8, 12/9, and a couple of times after that. Here's my response. In my opinion, it's not appropriate to provide someone's personal opinion in a document that will be posted in a public forum. It's also my opinion that anytime someone's posting information in a public forum, your information is correct. Mr. Burrow's information was not correct, and I have no choice but to refute it in a public forum. I don't want to be here, but I have no choice. You know, I called the township on 12/8. I hung up before anybody answered the phone because I had a call come in that I had to take. I called the township on 12/9, late in the afternoon, asked Mr. Burrow if he was in. The person that answers the phone told me he'll be back in the morning. I called in the morning. On the following day, 12/10, I asked for Mr. Burrow. He was not in, but the person that answered the phone asked me what my issue was. I explained it was regarding the dredging. They asked if he could call me. I said yes. So I spoke with Mr. Burrow on 12/10, 3:49 p.m., and our call lasted for 17 minutes. I spoke with him one day for 17 minutes. I did not speak to him before or after the call. I have phone records to prove what I stated is true. I didn't receive any satisfaction from that call on the 10th, so I had no reason to call him back. He stated that I called him back numerous times. I did not. I called him once. During that call, Mr. Burrow's response, I verified to Mr. Hanna the property owner of Cabana Blue has an active Eagle permit that appeared to be in order, and that they are responsible for any dredging going on around the island. I explained to Mr. Burrow that the elevation on the island peninsula has changed. It has been raised feet. There are large piles of dredging at the end of the peninsula, in front of the homes on Stark Drive. I went on to explain that Eagle has an open permit that states the following. 1,000 cubic yards can be dredged in 2025, 1,000 cubic yards can be dredged in 2026. There are designated areas on the island where the dredge tailings can be placed. Eagle is responsible to confirm how much can be dredged, when it can be dredged, and where the tailings can be placed on the island. It is the township's responsibility to determine what to do with the tailings once they're on the land, per open permits, etc. He didn't believe me, and I sat there and argued with him about this point. But I would think a gentleman that has a title, building zoning official and planning review, would at least understand that. And I told him I had a document from Eagle that stated this. It's the document that I gave to you the last meeting that I was at, actually on the 22nd of 25. So he didn't agree. He told me Eagle's responsibility is to manage the tailings. It's not the township's. I explained I had the document from Eagle, and we went around on this subject back and forth. And quite frankly, I just got frustrated. There was nothing I could do to convince him that what I was telling him was correct. So I went on and I asked him the balance of the questions that I presented to you folks. And he really couldn't answer anything, nor did he volunteer to answer anything. So Mr. Burrow's response here, he says, he's soon blaming me personally for allowing the restaurant development and allowing the grade to be set so high. My response, I never blamed him personally. I told him it's the township's responsibility to manage the dredge tailings in the site plan. I did ask him if this falls under his responsibility to check the grade and answer questions I had. I have no reason to make such a statement. I attended every township planning meeting when the island project was proposed. Site plans and Ingle permits were discussed in detail. My neighbors and I have copies. I have no reason to make such a statement. Now, was I pushing him to get answers? Yes, I was, because who else am I going to go to? There's nobody else with the title. There's nobody else for me to speak to. So I just wanted you to understand that. I'm not some crazy man calling your office every day and yelling about this. I'm a concerned citizen coming up here to the board because a gentleman that should be answering my questions had no inkling to do so. Never offered once. You know, even if you didn't know the answers, you can at least sit back and say, hey, what's most important? What's most important to me? The grade of the land and how long those tailings are going to sit there. He could have said, I don't know, but I'll get back to you in 4 days. I would have been fine. But at the end of that call, with zero satisfaction, it came down to, well, who approves these plans? The board. You want me to go to the board? Go to the board. Go ahead. So I showed up here on 12/22 to ask you folks the questions. The difference is, you folks were compassionate, you listened, and you know what? You got the answers that we needed, quite frankly. It could have been that simple, but the only reason I'm here is because nobody offered help. Nobody said, we're going to help you. In paragraph 4, I'll move there. It's my opinion, working with the owner, Cabana Blue, over the last 5 years. This was Mr. Burrow's response. Well, again, in my opinion, it's not appropriate to provide someone's personal opinion in a document that will be posted in a public forum. No one's questioning Mr. Henninger's integrity or willingness to follow and issue permits by the township or Eagle. He has followed all plans to date. The questions raised are related that I and my neighbors raise are related to the township's responsibility. Mr. Burrow's response, these dredgings will largely be removed as soon as the conditions allow. My response would be, even though there has been a variation made to the township's blight code regarding tailings for this particular plan in the master plan, so I think your code currently reads, can't go higher than 3 to 4 feet, must be enclosed by something, and can't be visible from a major road, right? Well, in his plan, he had it raised to 6 feet. So technically, he's still in violation of the blight code because it's still visible from a road. So I think you folks were going over and modifying some of your codes, ordinances, etc. So, you know, I just had a couple of maybe suggestions. You know, eliminate the statement, dredge pile cannot be visible from the highway. I don't think it's needed. You know, if it's visible from the highway, who cares? But if it's in front of somebody's home, it's a different story. So I think you have to make a couple simple modifications. Maybe one exception can be made per project master site plan, which is the case with Cabana Blue. Another exception could be made by the township board. Quite frankly, you will never probably develop a code that's going to encompass every situation because everyone is very, very different. And this restaurant sits in a community, right? So we know right now there's a 5-year dredge plan. So for the next 5 years, dredgings can take place. I don't think anybody's home should be looking at a dredge pile all through the winter months. I think there should be exceptions made. I think you need to look at the site. I think you need to make judgments based on the site. You know, if the island's owner, Mr. Henninger, is going to dredge for the next 5 years, where are all those tailings going to go? Can't raise the island anymore. You know, it's as high as it can go to plan. So are we going to be looking at dredge piles now? Again, look at the community. And I'll also say this, looking at those dredge piles from the island versus driving down Stark is a totally different view. So if somebody's going to go out and look at that, drive down Stark, look at those homes on the end, and look at those dredge piles. You know, I don't want to come back here again. You guys are lovely people. I don't mind talking with you, but I don't want to be here. You don't want me up here, right? But I can guarantee you, if there are dredge piles sitting in front of homes, whether it's at the end of the parking lot on that side of the community or on the Island Peninsula on this side, and they're there for months, somebody's going to say something, because nobody should have to look at that, quite frankly, you know? And it's a unique situation. You look at the dredge that's taking place now there's a little condo community that's going in at Dyke and Palms Road, and there's a little peninsula that's going out there. Well, there's dredge pilings there, right. But you know, once that property is developed, you will never see dredge pilings on there again. Our circumstance is a little different. We are that island is in the community, right in the middle of the homes and businesses here, and 15 homes that go down this side, right? It's a different scenario. You may have to make exceptions. So, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, please.
So, the building official is one of the code enforcers, but we do have a code enforcer in place here at Clay Township. He's dealt with elevations before as far as the dumping is concerned. I want to call it dumping, but piling. So I'm going to make a suggestion that we send him over there and look at the ordinance, and if it's out of compliance, we can ask the owner at that point in time to reduce it, whether it's the frost laws in here or not, but at least do something to try to reduce them adequately.
That's more than appreciated. It certainly is. I think the pile that's there now really will probably have to stay until it thaws, you know. And the other thing I know that Eagle has gone out and staked where the edge of that wetland is again, so he's probably waiting to pile that dirt up grade, you know, right to the end. So I think in the current circumstance, there's not a lot we can do. It's a shame that we're looking at it all through the Christmas holidays and everything else, you know, when you have company over and all that good stuff.
Well, maybe we can avoid any further elevation issues.
Well, the elevation's defined now, right? So per that plan, the elevation is as high as the parking lot. Well, I don't know if it's per the plan, because again, we had somebody's personal input. It's not per the plan, right? The response that we got.
Well, I'm the board rep for the planning commission, and I went through that whole aspect of that. And I never did see any problems with the elevations concerning, but now, because he is doing deposits, then that's the cause.
Well, you know what? Honestly, I was there too, every one of those meetings, and we went into great detail on everything. So we know why there's not a seawall going down the Stark Drive side. We know why certain things, but we're sitting there, and every year, the land is getting higher and higher, right? And honestly, we thought after the last dredging that took place in '24, and that grade was established, we thought that was it, right? Done now. We're all done. Oh, thankfully. Okay, we're done. No. New dredge permit was issued, so we got another 5 years of this. The question is, where are you going to put the pilings, and how long are they going to stay? And it really needs to be thought out, because people shouldn't be looking at that every year through the holidays and everything else. It's in our backyard. It's not on our side yard. It's our backyard.
Yeah, I have some thoughts that we can relay that to the owner on what he can do with the future dredgings.
Okay.
When was that dredge pile put there on the north end of the island?
I think it was 12/10.
It was in December?
Yes.
Okay. I talked to Andy Hartz at Eagle,
Yes.
and he's very familiar with this whole situation.
Yes, he is.
He said it's not uncommon for the dredge pile to be sitting this time of year.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it's frozen.
Right.
If that's there in the spring, the way it is currently,
Yeah.
they will take action.
Right.
Soil erosion, et cetera.
Yes.
So he's fully aware of that,
Yes.
but he understands that the reason it's where it is now and not being moved is because it's probably a frozen pile of mud.
Agreed.
So,
That's why I was making the statement. It really, now you can't do much. It's just what we should be thinking about is, if you got another 5 years of this,
well, that's a
where are you
different
going to
issue.
put them, how long they're going to sit, and don't put them in front of our homes.
That's a different issue then.
Yes,
Right.
yes. So I really appreciate your time. I thought I was misrepresented in the document, so I just wanted to set the record straight on that. And thank you for your time. You hopefully won't see me here
All right.
in the near future, at least.
Thank you, Mr. Hanna.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll move on to new business. 1A, assessing Pivot Point annual software and maintenance fee.
I will make a motion to approve Assessing's Pivot Point annual software and maintenance fee in the amount of $2,514.35, coming from GL line 101-275-760.
I'll second.
Motion and support. Any discussion?
Who flies that? That's a drone, right?
This is the software
Oh, you got-
that
it's just
the
the
assessing,
software, okay.
yeah, it's the software
Alright.
the assessing department uses to do all of, it to see everything.
Okay.
No further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, 1B, police tasers, Axon Enterprise, year 3 of 5. Is anybody from PD here? Can anybody shed some light on this? Do we know what this is?
It's a maintenance to have them keep getting recertified, their tasers. And then also in this invoice is the instructor course, so they can teach in-house.
And then this is a 5-year deal, and we're on year 3 of it.
This isn't the first time it's come up, so.
Any motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we pay Axon Enterprise $20,766 for GL 207-000-97000.
I'll second.
Support.
Okay, motion and 2 supports. Any discussion? If not, roll call, please, Tanya.
Okay, Tanya Hogan, yes. Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
Sarah Clemens,
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay, next item is 1C, audit, UHY assistance to the township in prep for our single audit. Bev?
This is not the actual audit, this is the assisting, and because of the amount of money we had from ARPA and everything that had to go, that's what this invoice is.
It was a lot of prep work, them assisting us with the prep work to get ready for the audit. I will make a motion to approve the UHY assist to the township in preparation for the single audit in the amount of $7,585 from GL line 101-265-805.
I'll support.
So this basically wouldn't have been necessary? If, everybody would have had their ducks in a row?
Well, they always help with a little bit of preparation to get us ready for our audit. It just was a little bit more extensive this time around due to the circumstances we're in. And having to have that more thorough audit did not help.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, no further discussion. Motion, support. Roll call on this one, Tanya, please.
Beverly Rose,
Yes.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
Sarah Clemens,
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard.
Yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes.
Motion carries. Next item up is 1D, renewal of Reedy software license for our water meters in the amount of $9,933. Lance, are you here? You got anything to?
Based on the amount of meters we have, this is going to be a yearly figure that we are going to have for the service and everything else in order for everybody to access the water meters and everything else.
Was that forecasted in the budget?
Yes, it was.
So this is just the support software for your radio read
Correct.
water meters?
Correct.
Okay.
I understand that because of the water meters, there's been some intervention with leaks and something like that.
We've been able to keep track of a lot of the leaks and a lot of what we call bursts. We had one on Cottage Lane this morning that they haven't been up to the cottage in almost 3 weeks, and the pipes broke on Saturday. And we were able to go through the Reedy leaks, find it. They used 12,000 gallons yesterday in one day.
Wow.
And in turn, we went over the first thing this morning. We actually beat the owner there. The owner lives in St. Clair Shores. When we called her at 7:30 this morning, and we sent the guys over and shut the water off before she even got there, so,
I love it when a plan works.
yes.
I was going to say, it's working the way we hoped it would then.
Well, we had a couple customers that we called today, and a lot of people were letting their water run, just trickle, but it shows up as a 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 3 gallons an hour type thing. So we called, I don't know, it probably was 15 or 20 customers, and we got the same story out of everybody, which is fine. It's just the object, it's just showing we're up on it, that we know what you're doing,
Right.
and, just trying to head it off at the pass if there is an issue.
Maybe I'll have you check mine. I had my grandson over a couple of days.
Tell them the shower story.
I will make a motion to do the renewal of the Ready software licensing in the amount of $9,933.54 from GL 591-000-760.
Or
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion? Roll call on this one, Tanya, please.
Roy Martin,
Yes.
Sarah Clemens,
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Mark Burchard,
yes.
Tanya Hogan, yes. Beverly Rose.
Yes.
Motion carries. Next item, stay there, Lance. 1E, water plant bi-monthly meeting. So it looks like this is a report from our water plant as far as what's going on and what's going to go on. Is there anything that you know about it that we need to know about it?
Well, just that they're looking for an operator for the water plant. The operator that was there had left. They do have a license that they're using with another operator at this point in time, but they're looking to see if Jason can write for a license in spring instead of it being in fall time, and that was something that they were working out with Eagle to see if he could write. It's like a month and a half early when he would be able to do so. So if he could write a month and a half early, he'll be able to write in spring and hopefully get his filtration license that he needs in order to run the plant.
Okay, good. I have a couple items on this. I'd like to, first, I wanted to acknowledge the staff at the water plant. They are doing the actuators on the pump, or on the valves. They're doing the replacement themselves in-house. And that's going to save the township and the city about $100,000. So kudos to those guys. I also wanted to make the board aware, in conversation, I discovered that there's a bi-monthly meeting at the water plant between the city manager, the water plant superintendent, Clay Township's water department superintendent, and the township supervisor. We pay 64% of the operations of that plant. So they meet bi-monthly, they discuss future expenses, issues that are ongoing or upcoming. It's a bi-monthly meeting, emails are sent out. This has been going on for 20 years probably or more. Our township supervisor has not went to one of those meetings since he's been elected. So we are not being represented with the city of Algonac at our bi-monthly water plant meetings, which we pay 64% of the cost. So that's not a good thing, and I think it needs to be addressed. That's all I have. Thanks, Lance.
Sure.
Any further discussion on this? If not, we'll move on to 1F, which is the South Water Engineering Bond Expenditure. So I'll bring the board up to speed on that. So this project is split between two phases, engineering and design, and then construction. The design phase is starting in February of this year. They anticipate January of '27, the construction phase will begin. The bonding process will probably begin mid-year of 2026. We had talked about, at that point, Fishbeck is going to invoice the three communities. And before you in your packet, I believe you have the amount. Clay Township's is 500 and, I don't have it in front of me, 500 some thousand, but anyways,
540,750.
yes, thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome.
So we had talked about a bond anticipation note, which is basically a cash advance that would come to, it's part of the bonding process, would come to the three communities and would help us to pay for this engineering until the bonding process is complete. The problem with the bond anticipation note is the interest rate is 12%. So the discussion came up, would we at Clay Township entertain the option of possibly borrowing from the general fund for that short period of time, which would be approximately 6 months, and then when the bonding process is complete and that the bond proceeds are available, that money would come back to the township. And whether general would charge the sewer fund an interest charge at a lesser rate or not an interest charge, that would be up to us, but it's something we'd like to consider and see if that would be an option and possibly save the.
Is that going to be a legal activity?
What it's going to need is it's going to need a resolution. We definitely can do it, but the resolution will have to include the terms.
And it'll be an appropriation
Yeah, it's
to
an
that
appropriation,
fund.
not a lend or borrow. And we can do prime rate plus one, or we can do no interest whatsoever, however we decide.
Yeah.
But this is not unheard of. This is done quite often. It
And I
can go,
thought-
general can do this for sewer. Sewer can't do it for general.
Right. Enterprise can't loan to general.
Right.
Right. I mean, it would be a significant savings. 12%
Saving
is a high rate.
12%,
Yeah.
saving
Definitely.
12%, I'm sold.
Perfect.
Um,
Perfect, yeah.
I guess our discussion should be, do we want to charge them interest on it? Because all this is going to have to be in the resolution that we adopt.
When would you have that resolution available?
When we decide what we're going to do.
That's totally at our discretion then?
Yeah.
Right. The best I'm getting right now is 3.15.
So do you know what the other municipalities are doing, John?
I can tell you, every township has the cash, they're paying it up front, but I believe Algonac is gonna pursue some type of upfront funding also.
Are they gonna charge interest out here?
I don't know that. Did you discuss this with legal, Bev?
Yeah, I discussed it with Tammy, UHY.
Okay,
She's our auditor.
yeah. So we need a resolution and a rate, if we're going to charge a rate, interest rate.
Did you say what Ira and Algonet's going to do?
Ira's going to pay cash, they have the money in their account.
Okay.
Algonac is going to need some type of upfront funding, but I'm not sure what the details are on that. Okay, so if we put that together,
It can be put together fairly quickly once we know the direction we want to go in. I can start getting it drafted.
yeah, I mean, we're not going to see an invoice until June from South Water, so it gives us a little bit of time, but
Yeah. I do think that's a better option than
12%.
12%.
I would agree.
You say that the bond should be available in about 6 months?
The bonding process will start, we'll probably see the proceeds in the fall of this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I'd feel more comfortable if we had this resolution for 1 year, just in case if anything happens. We
Put
have
a
it for
deadline
1
on
year.
it.
Sure.
Even if we get paid back earlier.
Yeah, okay.
And right now, 3.15 is the percentage that I'm getting on our investments. And if we can meet that, we're not losing anything.
That'd probably be the fairest way to do it,
So we're not gaining and we're not losing.
right?
How does everybody else feel?
I would agree with that.
What was that percentage again?
3.15.
Makes sense to me.
So maybe we could bring a resolution back at one of the upcoming meetings?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay, if no further discussion, we'll move on. Next item is public comments.
How about one?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Stage, yeah.
I'm sorry. 1G, discussion of stage.
We were contacted by the city of Algonac on the use of our stage. The clerk's office was researching contracts so that we are not liable should anything happen. We currently do not have a Parks and Recs director to
Kind of
keep track of all
facilitate.
this. But the stage was, the original paperwork to submit for the stage for the ARPA grant was to have it be shared throughout the southern half of the county, Algonac, Ira, us. I don't have a problem with Algonac using it. I just think liability-wise, we should be covered.
Sure.
And we have to ensure that it gets there safe, it's closed up, it gets back safe. If they don't have anybody to do it, then they should reimburse our DPW for doing it.
How does I'm assuming that falls under our blanket insurance?
It would unless it's in, if it's in their area,
Then it's not covered?
yeah, then they would have to cover it.
So that would be, we've been discussing like drafting a contract. And then within that contract, whoever is using the stage has to have coverage for it at that time, which is pretty standard. We were taking a look at the county contract and kind of comparing that one because it's the one that we've been in for, quite a few years, ever since Music in the Park.
Something like that could be covered under their insurance anyway.
Yep,
It's nice
it
to have
could
Nice to have a rider.
Yes. They say have a rider, and then it just shows like they're responsible for damage if it is damaged within the time frame they have it, instead of having nothing in place and just letting them use it, because then it can get ugly if something does happen to it.
I guess it could roll into the river. I don't think we've ever had any problem before with them, have we? Damage to a stage,
Not that I'm aware of, no.
but it's always safe.
And this,
I don't want to send DPW to go pick it up and find out that it was unlocked and
Yeah.
the
And
whole
left
inside's
open all
destroyed.
weekend and
Right.
got rained on, or, because
so this would be an agreement just between the township and the city of Algonac? Or would it be,
well, we were thinking of drawing up a contract for any municipality really that would like to use our stage, and then we could come up with different type of pricing. We just wanted to see what the board thought about that, because then Ira can use it. I know some other municipalities have been reaching out since they heard we got a stage to use it, so.
I don't want it to conflict what we already have planned too.
Is ownership transferred from St. Clair to Clay Township?
Well, this is a Clay Township
This was
stage.
always titled to Clay Township.
yeah.
Never was titled to St. Clair County.
We use the ARPA funds to get this stage, so it's not a county stage at all. It's a brand-new stage that we own.
Uh-oh.
This is a brand-new stage that we just received from Century Industries. This is something that was ordered back from the old administration, and it just finally came in. We do have the truck now to tow it for setup and everything else. I mean, I don't know if you guys want somebody else picking it up, somebody else towing it, or for us to tow it. That I don't know yet. This is all new grounds for us at this point.
I think it'd be safe if we did.
I prefer our own people doing it.
Setup is a little complicated. I mean, you got to level it before you open it. I mean, everything is hydraulic, and you have to release all the hydraulics to set the stanchions down so you don't do damage to the rest of the stage. There's a little bit to it for setting it up.
So it sounds like you would prefer that if we were to do this, that we would maintain control over that portion
That's
through
my...
our township DPW.
That is my opinion, yes.
Okay.
I mean, for something, we're talking the caliber of this stage, let's try to keep it nice for us as long as possible.
For sure.
Makes sense.
And then with that, we could charge a fee for a rental fee that would, cover the cost of our workers.
I mean, I know Algonac would like to use it. I know Ira's mentioned. I've already had calls from Mont Clemens, possibly for their street shows that they have up there at their park.
Pickerel tournament?
Very possible. Very possible.
I'm not, I have no problem with Algonac or Ira, but I'm not a fan of it going to Macomb.
You kind of just read my mind.
Going
I don't mind sharing with our neighboring communities, but I don't know if we
But
want
I'm
to
not in
just
the stage.
put it out to everything. If for no other reason, it's excessive wear and tear to where the thing's worn out in 5 years, so. That's just my opinion, but.
No, I get it.
So is this just a discussion? Are you looking for action tonight, or?
We just wanted to kind of, I don't know where Bev was heading, but we kind of wanted to see where you guys sat with us coming up with a contract.
I would have no problem with it. I think it's a good idea. As long as we cover our costs and we're insured properly.
That's what we were thinking.
Okay.
Bring the communities together with a stage.
Sure. Anything else? Thanks, Lance.
All right.
Okay, next item, excuse me, is 1H, Liga's Bar.
I was contacted by Gil Lega, wanted to know if the township was interested in buying the property where the bar sits. He said a couple years ago the township was interested at one time. He's looking at $495. But he'll go down to $450 if he has to.
So that property, so there's two sections there. One behind the bar that goes up to the water, which was
Yep.
separate, and then the other one is where the actual bar sits. So he wants $495 exactly for both pieces of property,
All the way to the water.
all the way to the water?
I told him I'd bring it to the board to find out what you guys think.
Well, that would coincide with the park that we have there already.
It's $450,000.
Yeah, I don't know if
I know,
I'm
I know.
comfortable with spending that type of money right now.
I'm not looking for an answer, just a discussion.
I think a lot of financing availability.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. I mean, I'd have to give it some thought, but that's a lot of money, and I don't know what exactly we'd gain by it.
On top of the fact that if we do want to turn it into anything, we
What
we
that
have the
would
cost to
cost.
tear down the,
We've got to turn it
Absolutely.
down. That's going to probably cost you $50,000, if not more.
I told him I'd bring it to you.
Yeah,
I
tell them
have
thanks for
thought so.
thinking of us. Any further discussion on that? Now we can move on to public comments. Any public comments?
Good evening, Cheryl Restivo, 5275 Point Trumbull. I'm going to start by letting everyone know I do not find any pleasure in having to address any of these issues. I sincerely, deeply care about this township, and it's not just where I work, but my home. I've taken pride in serving the community and doing my best to contribute in a positive and meaningful way. I've had many people in the community tell me I probably should not watch the December 22nd meeting, where there was lengthy, disparaging discussion regarding my character and my duties. I find this very unprofessional and out of line, very detrimental to our well-being of our township. I I avoided watching the meeting in order to continue my positive perspective of the township and this board. However, I did finally watch it, and one word was, wow. The agenda for the evening was for my continued education of Level 2 assessing certification. I wonder how this board cannot want anyone in our township to learn, excel, and be better for the township. Education, keeping up to date is very important to the well-being, and why it's not allowed for certain individuals. I do want to address several topics that have been discussed by this board and are absolutely taken out of context and or absolutely false. I did not miss the December Board of Meeting review. Shame on that misinformation being stated publicly in my name. I was a few minutes late at the beginning because I was on the phone with BS&A in Paul's office regarding an issue that Clerk Tanya Hogan brought to my attention regarding the payroll that needed to be done. The line item for the budget, I apologize. So it did cause me to run a few minutes late. It was something that was a priority. I attended the Board of Review meeting with Bonnie, Tom, and Jill, who were also in attendance, and there was actually no items on the agenda. We discussed our next moves for the year coming, and then our meeting was adjourned. It has been brought up during these meetings that the board addressed, has anyone asked Bonnie Campbell, our head assessor, her perception of my job duties? To this date, I'm understanding that not any one of you sitting up there demeaning my work ethic, attacking my character, my performance, have addressed Assessor Campbell. However, I do know that all of you did have in possession a letter of recommendation from her regarding recommending me for this training. I have had conversation with Bonnie Campbell regarding my performance, and Bonnie has assured me she is very happy and pleased with my performance as her assistant assessor. So where is this coming from that the board would want to publicly admonish my character if my own superior, who I work with daily, is recommending me, and we work extremely well together? The assessing department has always been my priority, and if any time I've been performing any other duty, whether it be helping another department or Supervisor Cassidy, I have always cleared it with Bonnie Campbell first. I enjoy working with Bonnie Campbell, and I truly working and learning the assessor's duties. I would like to point out that our chief assessor is the township supervisor. So assessing can envelop some of those conversations that everyone's so concerned about, just to make that point. To address some of the other public discussion at the board meeting regarding my request for payment for Level 2 training, for you to bring up a discussion after a second motion from Mark Bouchard was about ready to implement to approve my education was very disheartening. You and I had just had the discussion about sending in my application, and you signed the check and the fee to be accepted to the program along with this discussion with Clerk Hogan. If you did not support that, then why otherwise in that conversation personally with me would you do an absolute 180 during that public meeting? At that time, let me point out that this class is a 10-month commitment that is in the evenings and requires projects to be turned on Fridays, all of which is not during any paid time from the township. Bev Rose, you call out that you do not see my work on the times that the township is closed is not something that you can attest to since you are not with me 24/7. We are in different departments, and there are often times that I am covering your department. You addressed our very successful Over 55s activities group like it's something negative. This group was created with the blessings of Supervisor Cassidy and some of the members of the board in the use for this room. I work through my lunch hour hard to set up this room, and I work after hours and entertain the meeting and provide the activities. I use my own time and expend monies of my own that I have not asked to be reimbursed for the last few months that this has now gone on for 4 months of meetings. We are now creating a community of over 20 members that have really bonded and made some friendships, and I've had 4 widows told me that they haven't laughed this much in a long time, and it's certainly a beautiful thing. I invited you, Bev Rose, to come into the room to look and meet some of these individuals when you were here the other evening on Thursday, and you declined. I think you would have been a lot to just go a long way. This is something positive, something that should be celebrated and not discouraged, not spoken about in a negative tone. John DeBoyer was wondering about our contract with Advantage Tech instead of appreciating the help that I've given to almost every department and the service calls that I have saved. Helping someone with a printer or teaching someone how to just do a program is a very simple task that doesn't take very long and should not be seen in a negative manner. Rather than have some gratitude would be nice. This is just a few examples, but there are many more positive deeds and actions that somehow get twisted into something negative during these board meetings. My observation of many of the meetings in the past year has made it clear I'm going to move on to some other facts. So I would like to move this along, and I apologize that this is taking a little too long.
Could you expedite it?
I could have my husband take over if my 3 minutes are up.
Well, the 3-minute thing has been totally badgered here for the
Okay.
last year.
So then I'll continue. Now, if we'd love to talk truths, please let's do that. The assessing department supports Treasury, and I was trained to do many tasks within Treasury, given the situation that it was in the time. I worked through lunch on tax day. I stayed with after Anita to help Anita close up at times, and I was to be there to be her support, which I was asked and trained to do. This was before Bev Rose's position. When Jerry left and Anita transferred to the billing department, the questions were asked, who is doing the Treasury function? Not one person could stand up and say that Cheryl's there helping support us. Not one. It was myself and Brandy. At that time of the absence, I was the one opening the department and taking care of the township, all still while completing my assessing duties, let me point out. I was attending class to achieve my level 1 assessing certification at that time as well, on my own time. The board sits appear to be worried about Supervisor Cassidy taking away from my duties. However, I will point out that he's not the only one that requires tasks in me. I was asked by Clerk Hogan to stay behind instead of going with Bonnie in the field for assessing properties because I was needed to run Treasury. I was asked by Treasurer Bev Rose just last week to help in Treasury, and that would be okay because she was the one requesting me, and the board really doesn't understand how we need to operate as a team. I have been asked by Treasurer Bev Rose to see if I could work with the police department and figure out how to get more call buttons for safety. I offered to supply the township with wall covering, updating the appearance of the offices. I offered to do the installation as well on my own time, which led to the discussion with Bev about carpet, and then chastised me for it at the meeting. I inquired with Tanya Hogan regarding the Treasury position, given the training I had already had, and I was told that there was a process that was needed to be done. Evidently, that process was at the next meeting for Bev Rose to say that she wants it and Tanya to second it. Where was the posting for that position to allow others to apply and to be considered? All of the backdoor meetings, secret hallway discussions that I've seen go on, and this is not in the best interest of our township or the morale in the office. Let's call a spade and have some real transparency instead of surprise attacks. Where is the communication and teamwork? I have yet to have a nameplate with my name on it, and I've had continual emails with my name being spelt wrong, and I've asked for business cards as well, which I have yet to receive. So it shows me where I stand. I supported Anita in the union rep meeting so that her record was not harmed. I asked Paul to dismiss the charges. I was able to get the ice rink liner delivered in time for the season that was stuck in customs. I worked with Chief Rose and St. Clair Commissioner on the hazmat issue that needed to be addressed, and I worked with Chief Rose regarding the Harson's Island Fire Department and Lions Agreement that has not been addressed and neglected since 2020. I listened to the staff and their safety concerns and was able to get the doors secured with code entry that nobody else seemed to do. I've talked to concerned property owners, their concerns, and created solutions and enjoyed every interaction with these wonderful people of our township. The list goes on, and I will stop there. I came into this township and just focused on the positive and to do my job well. I thought I could avoid the personal attacks, but it seems some people would like to live in the negative and use me as their agenda. Let me remind Bev, Roy, Sarah, you were not voted by the people to your positions, and the things that you do, say, and matter. A township board is supposed to act as one and not perform self-serving agendas. I believe the board and the community with this. People should work together for the greater good, not break others down. Leadership is not stealing the sunlight for yourself, but to allow others to shine. Thank you to Bonnie Campbell for mentoring me, Paul Cassidy for believing in me, and the overwhelming support that I have received from those in the community. Thank you.
Any other comments?
Yep. Mike Restivo, 5275 Point Trumbull Road. So I'll keep this quick, John.
Thank you.
Yep. So I'm the one that gets to live with my wife and listen to all the stuff that goes on. And the only thing I want to say is that you four trustees, instead of listening to their lies, especially Bev, you're a liar. And I hate to be that direct, but it's a fact. I sat and listened to that meeting about her character, of how she is as a person. You guys aren't here. You can only go off of what she says. Roy, you had the best comment when you said maybe she should start taking notes, and she does. I told her, I said, if you want to see her journal of her time spent, she's got it. And you had made a comment, Sarah, about when you work 40 hours, that's, about possibly doing a part-time thing. It's a union position. This township needs a assessor and an assistant tax assessor. When I met everybody, I liked them so much, but when I watched that meeting on December 22nd and saw her lie about my wife, that bothered me, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Any further comments?
Wendy, Harson's Island. I'm glad to see you here today, Cheryl. And I think that the biggest thing about everything was that maybe there should be a deputy supervisor for Cassie and an assessor, separate positions for you. I think that would make everyone very happy. And I think that you should be at all the meetings, because you could have stood up for yourself had you been at that last meeting. And I think it's very important, if you are the deputy supervisor, to be here. You should be here for the meeting. And I have another question about when they're having a meeting on the island. And the other part is about Paul having a commitment to this community, and he's not here. But I would very much like that he pays attention when people speak up here. I would very much like to have a supervisor report in the beginning of what is moving forward with this community, what is happening with us. We never have a supervisor report. And a supervisor comments in the end. You guys all comment, you all say stuff, and he doesn't comment. And that's about it. Thank you.
Anything further? We'll move on to board members' comments. Sarah, you want to start? I can go first if you want me to, sure. I just have one comment. It's been cold, weather's been severe. Frozen meters, no water complaints, a lot of those. If you do have issues, please call the water department first, because they can come out and maybe troubleshoot the problem and save you a plumber's bill. I know that happens a lot. People call plumber comes out, and it's a frozen meter or whatever. So please start there with the water department. That's my PSA for the night. That's it.
So I wanted to take a moment and clarify the concerns that were raised that I previously raised regarding the Clay Township Facebook page, and to correct some of the misunderstandings and misinformation that have been spread over the last several weeks. On November 25th, I asked Bev and Tanya a straightforward question after discussion was already occurring about the subject, whether anyone other than Ms. Nader had administrative control of the Clay Township government Facebook page. Tanya responded to that when she received access to the page, the only administrators listed were Brandy, who was our Parks and Rec representative, and Ms. Nader. Based on that information that was provided at the meeting, I followed up with the concern asking whether our Parks and Rec director had administrative access during a period when unprofessional and divisive content was being posted on the township's official government Facebook page. My concern was about governance, oversight, and accountability, not about personal attacks and accusations. I was simply doing my job as a trustee by asking questions about how an official township communication platform was being managed. Tanya later clarified that she could not be certain whether there had been other administrators prior to her access, and reiterated that those were the only two listed at the time she got access. I accepted that clarification, but I continued to express concern about the structure and the controls surrounding the page, particularly given the nature of the posts that had appeared on that page. That same concern was reiterated at the December 22nd board meeting. At that meeting, I again raised the issue of who had access to the official government Clay Township Facebook page. I noted that some posts had lacked professionalism, including poor grammar and tone that did not reflect the standards the standards expected of an official government page and communication. I was very clear then, and I want to be very clear now again, that I did not accuse any specific individual of making those posts. Frankly, I don't know who made them. I also stated that my belief that other departments or deputies should not be posting on the official government Facebook page. The page should be tightly controlled, professional, and used solely for official township communication. It's important that there is a single designated person held accountable for all activity on that platform in accordance with the law and recent Supreme Court rulings that emphasize accountability and responsible management of government social media accounts. This ensures the page remains a professional, controlled channel for official township communications only. At no point were my comments personal, retaliatory, or inappropriate. They were rooted in transparency, professionalism, and my responsibility as a trustee to ask questions when something does not align with good governance. That is, always has been, and will continue to be the entirety of my intent. I hope this clears up any misinformation that's been shared over the last couple of weeks. That's it.
I am all set. Mark.
We have a planning commission on the 28th, Wednesday. We'll be discussing accessory height building, which may be important to some people that are planning on putting an addition on their house. The ZBA got some decision sheets here. One was for a garage being built 200 feet back from the home, and at that garage, and the garage is going to be bigger than the house. So the ZBA passed that based on certain criteria. And chain link fence, actually it's going to be turned into a privacy fence, and it's going to be a little bit higher than what was called for in the ordinances, and that's been passed. That's all I have. Thank you.
First, I'd like to address Cheryl and her husband. It was never my intention to make things bad. There's no doubt that it's very much appreciated, everything that you do. I go to you if there's a problem. Other people go to you if there's a problem. You're a problem solver. That's what you are. I've asked you to do things that are not in your job description. I guess I'm just as guilty as everybody else. The purpose of a deputy is to act in lieu of, not to act in concert with. And although this is not your fault whatsoever, you are pulled out of assessing when the supervisor's in. And he needs to let you do your job. You do a fabulous job at what you do. I'm not sure if anybody's aware, but the 55 and older on Thursday night had 30 people. So it is a success, and it's due to you. Nobody's taken away anything that you're doing. Just the timing was bad. There's no doubt in my mind you'll get into the next class. I will support it 100%. Cheryl and I have been working on carpet, so yes, she doesn't stay in assessing all the time. I don't stay in treasury all the time. That's not the problem. I think that supervisor relies on you a lot, and he has a whole other team that he can be relying on, and that's a shame. So I apologize. That was never my intention. We do appreciate what you do. Secondly, 2025 winter taxes are due on February 17th, 2026. Our office will be open during lunch that day. Paying your winter taxes on or before February 17th will eliminate the penalty. After March 2nd, 2026, all 2025 taxes must be paid at the St. Clair County Treasurer's Office. We cannot accept tax payments after March 2nd. Addressing social media and rumors. Seems to be a full-time job. Yes, I am in the office every day. I am here because the backlog I inherited was substantial and required immediate, consistent attention for both taxpayers and the proper operation of this office. We are legally required to conduct an audit every year. filed by December 31st, no exceptions. In government, the audit process typically takes about 3 months. Since the end of December, we have been submitting documentation, responding to inquiries, and providing proof for every check, deposit, and account. That's what I was doing here Thursday night. Got a last-minute request. Between the clerk's office and treasurer's office, over 93 separate requests have been submitted, many requiring extensive documentation. Our next step is a site visit, which began today. Comparing this process to filing personal taxes reflects a lack of understanding of what a municipal audit entails. Due to more than 10 months of neglect prior to my term and the urgency of preparing for the audit, Christie returned temporarily to complete reconciliations so the audit could be scheduled. We are currently undergoing the 24-25 audit, and the 25-26 audit will be completed in August. This position is not just balancing a checkbook. There was no objection to paying an outside source over $22,000 to perform this work. However, concern was raised over paying half that amount to someone with direct knowledge of the role who worked nights, weekends to move the audit forward. If residents wanted a treasurer who could step into the role, understand the responsibilities, and work diligently from day one, they had that prior to November 2024. I have been accused of not pursuing training. When I volunteered for this position, my objective was clear: correct the deficiencies in this office. I have completed MMTA new member, MMTA reconciliation, and MMTA intro to budgeting. While additional training has value, hands-on work in the office has been the most effective approach during this recovery period. I currently have 2 full-time employees, not 5 or 6 has been stated online. Both are entitled to vacation and sick time. I also have 1 part-time employee who has experienced recent illness. I don't need to tell you, flu is going around. When staffing is limited, I work the counter. Serving residents remains the priority. I have not taken a single day off since being sworn in on October 6, 2025. That fact speaks to the condition of this office when I assumed responsibility. Regarding the treasurer's report, a report for August 2025 is available as that month has been reconciled. Releasing reports that are 5 to 6 months behind would be inaccurate and misleading. Progress towards current, reliable reporting continues each week. I have consistently stated that I am familiar with General Ledger, BSNA, and that I have served as treasurer for other organizations. I never claimed I would be fully operational on day one. There is also a rumor that I intend to run for supervisor. Let me be very clear. I do not want to be supervisor. I will not run for supervisor, and I have no intentions of doing so. I have already accepted one role that required correcting prolonged neglect, and I do not intend to repeat that experience. I understand that criticism comes with this position. However, spreading false information or directing attacks towards my staff is unacceptable. Commentary from individuals who are not present in this office daily is neither accurate nor appropriate. I may not know the source of every rumor, but I do know this. I am here every day doing the work required of this office. If you have legitimate questions or concerns, you are welcome to stop in during regular business hours. My door remains open.
Tanya?
Cheryl, I'm sorry that you haven't been feeling support within the office. You have stepped up and done a lot, and I was left with no choice but to ask you to stay back that day, and you did. And we do appreciate that, and we do see that. And going forward, you will have my support with education as it pertains to your role. I also want to say I was recently informed that the township has a rec plan that is expiring this month. I contacted the planner. She's going to get with the planning commission, and we can either renew the current rec plan, or the planning commission can revamp it a little bit. So I got that process started with Karen, so hopefully she'll be reaching out to the planning commission very soon, because we don't want to have an expired one. And, you know, the office is really moving forward. Most of us are working together as a team on this audit, and it's a nice change of pace to get things turned around. And everybody stay warm.
Okay, next meeting is February 9th, 6 PM, right here at the Township Hall. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Support.
Thanks, everybody, for coming.